Welcome back to Beauty Marks Podcast, a space where we embrace our marks acquired through our journey. My name is Elizabeth Savillon, and I'm so glad that you're here with us at Hi Hello Labs in downtown Orlando. I am excited to partner with them at this beautiful studio space. If you have any creative content needs, it's like a hub for all things creative. Make sure to check them out here in downtown Orlando. And also, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to this podcast. That helps for exposure and just getting this podcast to grow. And also, if you haven't already, make sure to leave a review. Make sure to follow me at Elizabeth Sabby on social media. And also, I'm on TikTok. And also, for women events in Orlando, make sure to follow She Cultivates ORL, where we are doing summer hangs and different events this summer. So if you want to make friends, meet women in Orlando, it is a great place to do so because it's people that want to connect and want to get to know others. On this week's podcast episode, I had made a poll on social media about a Q&A. And so I wanted to just answer that and just talk a little bit more about things that you guys have questions about. That usually I get like repeating questions. And so I wanted to answer them all in one. How to set boundaries with someone who drains your mental health, but they are family. And that is more real than we think. And I think when it's family, especially, that's even harder because it's people that you don't choose. It's like people that are part of you for your whole life. They're not people that are just like friends or partners. It's like sometimes you have to see them at certain functions, or you're kind of guilted into, because you guys are family, that you have to have them around, or you have to make conversations, or you have to call them, and all this kind of guilt that comes with that. So setting boundaries has looked like, for me, understanding where people are at in their own space. So it's like them, maybe they're just not emotionally mature to take on some stuff. But if they are, I have that conversation to let them know, hey, when you say this affects me in this way, I would appreciate if you don't bring that up. Or if, if it's someone that's always calling you every day and you're just busy and you don't have the time or honestly emotional capacity to take that on, it's letting them know, hey, I'll call you on this day of the week and we'll talk about those things. But right now, I'm just, I have a busy week. So putting certain boundaries that are more practical, because I feel like those are the ones that I've had to navigate because it does weigh on you. During this month that I have had family issues come up, it is exhausting. I feel mentally drained, and I've had to take a step back. I've had to go to different places, get out of the house, go on walks, do things to just process. And also my therapist is like my safe space where I can just talk to her about stuff. So just finding that balance between, yes, they are family, but if they are also not healthy for you, or if there's certain either cutting off or setting, hard firm boundaries with them to let you know that you can let them know, because that might be affecting you. Because if it's someone that drains you, that means that it's like a consistent, persistent thing. And that sometimes means people that bring up certain conversations, people that are always nagging you about stuff, people that are always telling you, criticizing, or talking about other people, or trying to bring you in drama. Sometimes those people do drain you. And so how you set that is by having the conversation, letting people know, because sometimes the things that we don't say, that is the stuff that causes chaos within us. So sometimes it's worth having that conversation. What equipment do you recommend for someone that's starting a podcast? And so I am blessed now that I get to do it here at Hi Hello Lab Studio, and they have the mic, the cameras, the lights, and everything. And I just literally show up and they are amazing. But when I was doing it at my house, because I did start, if you are new to the show, I did start in 2020, and I did it literally from my house. And so I had a Blue Yeti mic, which cost me like $100, and I had my Mac, and I just recorded on there, and I would edit on GarageBand, and that was my process for over 2 years. So if you're starting out, I would recommend doing something like that to, to see first how it's going to go, and the consistency and all of that you have. Or if you want to invest in it, you can also do it at Hi Hello Labs, and they literally do everything for you. But I definitely think it's worth just going for it. You can get a hosting, which is like Buzzsprout, Podbean, and that's pretty much what puts out your podcast to everything. There's a whole bunch at this point. There's like Anchor, and there's so many ways. There's so many podcasts also that you can listen to like learn about how to make a podcast. But whatever dream you have, just go for it. You never know what is going to come out of it. What is one thing you are working on? And I'm trying to learn to rest, to be okay with resting and not feeling like I have to always be productive or always have to be doing something, because naturally that is where I incline to, and that's naturally what I like struggle with, is like just pausing and resting. And so in the past few months, when I like went to go get my hormones checked, that like my cortisol levels were high, I know I have to slow down, and I know that that starts within myself, because I have these unrealistic expectations of trying to be superwoman sometimes, and it gets tiring. And so I am working on lowering stress this summer. I'm trying to do like a little like summer fun bucket list for myself of things that I'm looking forward to. So that means going to the beach, seeing the sunrise. I want to try a Pilates class this summer and also a hip hop class. And I want to do like crafty stuff, because I feel like those things just like take you out of like the normal routine. I'm someone that does like trying new things, like that is like finding excitement in like trying new places, trying new experiences. Maybe go to those rooms that you kind of like smash everything. That sounds like fun. And just trying to spend time with people that, you know, fuel me and like give me a lot of joy. So a lot of sunsets, a lot of outdoor stuff this summer. I'm really looking forward to it. Even though in Florida, I always forget that every summer it rains. And so this past week, I was like, wow, I'm going to go to the pool. And then it was like a storm, just like the whole rest of the day. So I'm going to try to do that earlier in the day, or if not, watch sunsets at night. But if you have any recommendations of things to do this summer, let me know, or things that you're looking forward to this summer. Another question was about comparison. It was like, do you compare yourself a lot? And I did answer, and I was honest in the previous episode about kind of my journey with that. I think right now it has been feeling like the comparison of if I'm enough for like a relationship that has come up, which I was fine. I was doing so good. I was like on this single life girl journey that I was really enjoying it. But I don't know, the desire came, and I feel like I just have like, I'm just more open now that I want a relationship. And I feel like that I have to remember that I just started feeling like that. Like last year, I was not ready for a relationship. The year before, absolutely not. The year before, no. But like now that I feel like I'm ready, I'm just like more aware of it. And so I think I do compare myself right now on like, but this person, you know, doesn't have this, and this, and they have this amazing partner. Like, you know, what about me? Or like, what do I have to bring to the table for someone else? You know, so like I sometimes downplay myself for someone too. So I'm working on that, because that's another question, is like, what are you working on? On being more gentle with myself. And honestly, I think when I love hearing on TikTok videos of like a lot of older women that are like in their 60s, 70s, and they always say like, something that I regret is letting my body stop me from living. So like obsessing about how my body looks, which I have struggled with that like my whole life. I had, you know, just really bad eating habits. I almost became anorexic. I had really bad relationships with food. I gained weight, and then I started beating myself up about it. And then dating now in the body that I have, like I sometimes feel super insecure, and I like have days that I feel like super confident and I know how to dress my body, which helps. But ultimately, I know that there's days that I'm like, oh no, like my arms are like, you know. And then what happened, to be honest, is someone of my family in Latino culture, something that I low-key cannot stand is that they always mention stuff about your weight or like your body. Like it's never like, wow, I love that you're doing this with your career. Like a lot of families like that I haven't seen in like a year or 2 years, the first thing that they will always mention is about my weight. It's either that I lost or I gained weight. It's never something else. And that has been something that literally just happened this month. And I was just kind of like, if you just knew that I was literally looking at myself the other day and I was like saying how I don't like this about my body. And he literally pointed that out. Like, so I'm trying to not let external and understand that like my body has changed and I am enough and great just as I am. And I'm working towards things. I work out, I go to the gym, I'm active, but I'm never going to be like this person that I like, this imaginary, just putting an imaginary person here. And so that has been my comparison. It has been to like my old body and my old self. And also sometimes with the relationship stuff. So that although stems with my core belief of being enough or changing to be loved. And that's like a whole thing with my own therapist. So working through that. And so I am honestly just trying to be more authentic and be more honest and open with the people around me and have more compassion with myself. Because I talk about that, and that is honestly one of my biggest struggles. So it's like the area that I need God most and the area that I need to like refine more is that. And so something that I'm looking forward to, or some goals that I have for the rest of the year, I'm looking forward to celebrating my 3 years of this podcast, which is such a blessing. And also for the events that we have for She Cultivates. I am excited for going to one of my childhood friends' wedding this summer, which I'm going back to Oklahoma. If you didn't know, I was actually raised in Oklahoma. And so I lived there for 9 years. And so I'm going back after 13 years. So I am kind of reconnecting with middle school friends and a friend that's getting married. And I am just so excited to be there. I'm actually going to go do the whole, like, it's a little corny, but honestly, I'm excited. I'm excited to go to where I went to elementary school, where I went to high school, my favorite Mexican food spot, because over there they have like more authentic Mexican food. So I'm looking forward to that. And she's also, for her wedding, because she's Mexican, and she's actually going to have like a taco food truck at her rehearsal dinner. And I am so excited for that. So like we were talking on the phone and we were just catching up about everything and just kind of like, I was telling her like, okay, what should I be wearing? And I sent her pictures and like, we talked about like the schedule and how it's going to be. So I am really looking forward to that, and just kind of, I don't know how I'm going to feel like coming as like 27, going there to like my childhood place that like honestly really formed a lot of my core years were there. And so I'm looking forward to that, and just to be able to continue to grow this podcast. What is something that we can pray for, which I thought was really sweet. So thank you for that. I would say praying for my family, praying for my mental health, and just to not let like things stop me from where God has called me to go, and to not let the discouragement or the self-doubt, because that sometimes creeps in. And ultimately, like, I know that's like what the enemy uses for me. It's like, it's more with my mind, because the enemy's the same. He like tries the same tricks up his sleeve, and he like throws the same things. And so when you've already kind of like you've already overcome something, I'm like, oh, definitely not that. So then he tries something else. And then for me, it's feeling exhausted and feeling like burnt out. I feel like that's what the enemy uses for me. And then it starts in like my mind. So that is something that I'm working through and praying for, and just like to find that peace, with God and just what he has for me. I want to read one last encouragement, that a scripture that's been kind of helping me through. It is Psalms 32:8. It says, I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye on you. And during the season of feeling like the comparison and the loss and all of that part, I definitely have grounded onto that, and knowing that God has great plans for each and every one of us. So I hope that you enjoyed this episode and you share it with a friend. Let me know on Instagram or through email that you can always ask any questions, any topics that you would like to hear. And I am just thankful for each and every one of you guys that tune in every week. Make sure to subscribe to this podcast, leave a review, and I will see you guys next week.